She's here. Gwen Stefani is in the house. Thank you, Gwen.
I'm like, what? Listen, like I walk in, there's a red carpet, and there's my song going. There's a pumpkin with my face on it. It's like me and Blake here in a checkerboard. I mean, you spoil me.
Oh, well, you spoil us, Gwen. So
now I got to go make another record. So.
It's mutual. All right. So what can you tell us about the new song and album? And congrats.
Thank you. Well, it's just been such a long time coming. I know it feels like forever, but it went really fast. I had a lot of things going on, healing, dealing, and I feel like we talked about this a little bit last time I was here with Purple Irises, because that was like the first song that I wrote that sort of led me to this record.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's like I had written all this other stuff and went down all these different roads, and it just didn't land. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And I think that just the creative process is just so unpredictable. And also, it's not like I'm full time. Like, okay, I'm in the studio again today.
You're doing other things.
I have
You're a mom.
the mom thing number one, right?
Yeah.
And then all the other things. So, just to find the time to go in, I always would feel guilty, because also you go in and you don't know if you're going to come out with something. Like you could waste like a whole day like trying to write a song, and then you go down that spiral of like, I suck and I can't deliver anything, But once I kind of got to that place where I was like, okay, I know what this record is. It needs to be like me now. Like it can't be me chasing me. It can't be me competing with myself. It can't be me trying to compete with anything out there. It has to be my honest, true, what's happening right now in like the kind of music that I want to do, what I want to listen to.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's kind of what I was the inspiration for it, I guess.
You were your own
I wanted to listen to
inspiration.
him. I wanted to make something that I loved and that didn't feel like something I'd already done. So
are you a note taker, diary taker, and then you'll go in a room to write your songs and look back at notes? Or
sometimes, yeah, I like a lot of times, like if I'm working out and I'm listening to something else, like I feel like I kind of have this dot to dot like inspiration where like one thing will trigger one idea.
Okay.
So then I'll just like put it down in a text to myself and have like just like lines or whatever like that. But so other times I just, it was really for this record finding the group of people that I felt like I could really be supported in my ideas too, because like they're super talented on their own, but like there's so many talented people I work with, but if I don't feel like I can bring something to it, then it never really has that truth. You know what I'm saying? So working with the group that I got to work with, which we kind of wrote Purple Irises, and then there was another couple different writers that I got to go in with. And once you start to get comfortable and you're like going in, they know my whole story. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
and
right,
it's like then it's like it starts to flow. But yeah, it's just one of those things where next thing I knew, I was like, I think I have a record now. Like, and I really wanted to make something that felt like edited. Like all my other records, I feel like I put everything out. Like I was like, I'm going to put 10 songs, like my favorite, like top of the top, like that really tell this. It's an album. It's not, in fact, like after I wrote all the songs, I re-recorded everything. I went, because I basically wanted it to have such a live, like organic, kind of that 70s yacht rock sound to it. And the only way to get that is by real human beings playing it live.
Oh, nice.
So it was exciting because there's a guy that I really wanted to work with. He's a really amazing, iconic, like legendary producer called Scott Hendricks. He's actually a country Nashville guy. And I'd worked with him with Blake. He did like all of Blake's. He's had like, hundreds of hits. Like this guy is like, he's a genius. And
he was free.
Well, he was
like available.
No, he
was.
He actually wasn't. He wasn't because he was tied up in a contract and he wasn't able to work with me. And then basically he was retiring or leaving, and I texted him like 2 songs, and I was like, "Hey, would you ever want to like work with me?" And he wrote me back. He's like, "I can't stop listening to these songs," and I was like,
you got it.
Like I was like freaking out.
I feel like this happens in your life so much, Gwen. I feel
Which part?
Like the part where you like say you have a dream about something, or there's this person you wanted to work with, and all of a sudden there he is, he's available. When you wrote Purple Irises, you were talking about the street.
Iris
Avenue.
Iris
True.
It's like these things all come together in this universal way.
When it comes to music, that I feel like is true because
Uh-huh.
I feel like music, like God chose me to do music. So
Yeah.
that's like my purpose. So like the songs, I don't really feel responsible for the songs. Like they're literally channeled down. So
Yeah,
that's
right.
why it's like, I'm not worried about the timing of it because it's like it's God's timing. Like
Right, yeah.
if it's supposed to happen now, it's supposed to happen now. And whoever it touches, it's going to touch. You know what I mean? It's really all out of my control. But it is true. Like a lot of mystical stuff kind of
It does. It happens around you. We were
It-
talking about this before with you, and it seems like all these like good things converge right at the right time.
It
the right
was.
time for you.
And that's when Scott like was available. He basically, it was 4 days after he retired.
Oh,
like
my God.
4
And
days
there he
after,
is.
and we went in the studio and we cut it with like these incredible musicians, and all they had was like me singing a really bad acoustic version of the song. So we would just like listen to one song,
Uh-huh.
and they'd be like, okay, cool, and then they'd all go in and just start playing, like
Oh,
playing what they thought,
Oh, my
based on
God.
like
Yeah.
the style that we talked about,
Yeah.
and it was very artistic.
Yeah.
Like it was very like I don't even know how to explain it, but it
Mhm.
was like it had such a vibe to it. It was so old school,
Yeah.
like people, on a piano, on like an organ, like the guitar players are like it was amazing. It was so
Yeah.
amazing. It was so spiritual, and we did the whole thing in like 2 days.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Because everything was working
Yeah.
for you. And is that why you call it Bouquet? Because it was like all these different flowers coming together?
It felt like, like each song was, like I said, like I really wanted it to be, they were each handpicked for this album.
Uh-huh.
And it was like, after all this time, like after all of the different, like, I don't know, different times I tried to plant seeds and they didn't grow, right?
uh-huh.
Like this is the ones, these
The
are the special
ones.
ones that made the
Nice.
bouquet. Yeah.
I love that. And somebody else is a theme song for so many people. Our Ryan here just went through a break.
Yeah, in June.
I'm
Yeah, like
sorry.
not
No,
that long
no,
ago. No,
Gwen,
he's trust
Gwen.
me, Gwen.
Okay, and I'll tell you
He's
what.
fine.
You ready for this? I wrote this down after I listened to the song. And I pray for whoever they are. Every day with you was rock bottom.
Wow.
I felt that, girl.
Those are some good.
Wow.
So thank you.
That's so funny. Well, I wasn't planning to like write about that,
Yeah.
honestly. And it was this little girl, Madison Love. I love you if you're listening. And she had actually come to me with the idea for the song, like after we had written a bunch of music and spent a lot of time together. And I almost was like scared to open it because it's like I don't like when people send me stuff because then I have to say like I don't like it or you know what I mean, like
right, yeah.
and I never do other people's. I always like
right,
to be
it's
part
you.
of it, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, it was so clever, and I didn't really want to go down that negative path, really.
But I
know?
don't find it that negative. I
But-
find it to feel good actually.
Well, that's the thing, and
Yeah.
so what happened was I really felt like once we went back, then we ended up going to Oklahoma all together and like finishing the song together, and it was like, gosh, I really do need to show how far I've come.
Yeah,
you know what I
right,
mean? To
yeah.
show like how far this love has grown and what I've been through.
Yep.
Right? You can't really see the light without the dark. So
Yeah, that's
it was
right.
like a perfect kind of thing that the album needed. But the fact that it's the first single was just super unexpected because honestly, when we were cutting it, I was like, I don't even know if I should do this song. I almost didn't do the song.
Yeah, and now
then
it's
we
the first single.
Yeah, so that's kind of wild.
Well, and congratulations on the iHeartRadio Music Festival. You deserve another iHeart Award just for your performance. Everyone, like,
Yeah.
that's all. Like, that's it. Streaming on Hulu now. But when I was watching you, and I love the bows,
Oh, thank you.
but that was so electric. And I just feel like, I don't, as a woman watching another woman do what you do, it just makes me feel like you are such a good example for women who like might be timid or not believe in themselves as much. And then to see you go up there and just kill it.
Aw,
I just feel
thank
like
you.
every time I see you live, I feel like you just keep gaining power of yourself. You know what I
That's
mean?
interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I think
A confidence,
I love
like
to-
more confidence, if that's even possible. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. I think it's like I felt loved that day when I
Yes,
walked
yeah.
out, and I was like wanting to love back. That's
Yeah.
all it was. It's just like an exchange of love, and I think after having something new to offer too, I just felt like I know this record so well.
Yeah.
I lived it. everything about it. And it's like now to be able to share it to the people that might want to listen to it or that do listen to it. Like, I hope they get the kind of like that feeling you get when you fall in love with a record and it's healing. It's like you just want to keep playing it. It just gives you that energy. Like, that's what it did for me. But it's every time you put a record out, or I have, it's like it has these like weird like things. Like, the moment you write the song, you think you wrote one thing, and then you start listening to it and you're like, wait a minute, it's talking back to me. Like, I hear things in this song that I didn't know that I even was meaning to say.
Interesting.
It's so cool. And then again, like, once you like we cut it with the band, it was like, oh my gosh, it feels even different. Like, it has a different energy. And then sharing it and having other people hear it, it's a whole nother thing. Because you can't explain how powerful music is. Like, especially when you're part of writing it, it's insane. So I think that day, knowing that was the song coming out and coming out there, and also when you're with like your peers, like everybody that's part of music right now, and I get to still be part of that day, I was just like, I was hyped. I was like, I'm about ready to slap that out of you guys. Like, you guys are gonna get some good spankings right now.
They were really good spankings. Here's another kind of like mystical Gwen thing. I get in the car this morning to drive in, and there's somebody else's is on the radio. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm driving to see Gwen right now. It's just so cool.
Being on the radio never gets old, guys. I'm just gonna tell you that right now.
Yay.
You know that.
I feel that way every day. I've been doing this a long time. It's
amazing.
Every day. You know, it's always different. Every day is different. You know, every time you come in, it's different. And I'm sure that every time you hear your song, it's different. You may be, you know, in your kitchen, or you might be in your car. I think in the car it's so fun.
I think it's amazing because you know that people need people, right?
Yeah,
and people need people, that's why making the record it's like a confession. And people need to confess, share, like bounce off each other. Like, we are here for each other. Like, that is why we are, you know what I mean? People need people. So to be on the radio, you know that all these people are driving and listening, and we're all connecting, and there's that energy, right?
I love that.
It's incredible.
Yeah, I love it. And the voice, I'm sure you're having such a blast. I mean, what a great bunch of coaches. Every time, like every season when they come up with a new combination, I'm always like, this is perfect. This is my favorite season. And
really?
Then you come back and it's Snoop and it's Bouquet and he's so in awe of you. I saw him randomly somewhere and all he talked about was you.
Really? Oh my gosh, he's so sweet. Well, I knew I was gonna love him because Blake and him are friends, and I'd never met him, but they're always text, and he's always like, I love that kid. I love that guy. Like, they love each other. Like, they have fun together, and they did music together. And so I kind of knew that was going to be, I was going to love him. And Snoop, I've met, but I haven't really hung with, but I'm like kind of a super fan, like to the point where I was like, how's this going to go? Like, is there going to need security on set, or am I going to be able to I'm going to be like fumbling my words around him. Like, I didn't know how, I was nervous because I love him so much.
Yeah, you're right.
And he's just such an icon, and he's just so Snoop. Like, he just can't even get away from himself. Like, it's so crazy. And he ends up being like, he was always sweet, but like, I mean, this is one of the kindest, like heart-led, love-led people I've ever been around. It's so infectious to be around him too, and he's literally like crying for real, on set because it's very emotional being a coach. Like, the game is a game, but it's also like it's a game with people's like hearts, dreams, lives, and it never gets old as far as, you know, when you have to send people home and you're like, why am I doing this show? Like, this is so hard, you know? And then Reba and me are like almost besties now.
Yeah.
Like, this is our second season together, and I know she's having a fun. And everyone's so full of love. Like, we pray in a circle before we go on. Like, everybody wants to be there. Everybody is just like having the time of their lives. I'm the one that's been there the longest. I'm old school, and it's weird because it feels kind of still new for me, but I feel like every time someone new comes on, I get so excited because coaching it truly is so fulfilling to watch people like
blossom.
Just,
like
I don't
that.
know, like, be able to help them. Like, all you have to do is just say, hey, do it like this, try this. And they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't know I could do that, or you see them like really get better.
Yeah.
And it's just a very cool show. I'm having a
that's
blast.
super rewarding.
Why did-
Well, that leads us to our last question. We have to let you go, but
no.
what do you love more? Do you love like getting dolled up or getting in the dirt? 'Cause I'm a dirt girl myself. I love.
You don't look like a dirt girl.
I'm a dirt girl. I love to
Really?
plant things, and I mean, I don't have a garden like yours, but I just did basil in pots, and it exploded overnight. And I
Wow.
love going out there and picking and smelling, and I love seeing things grow.
It is true. I love it too. It's
Yeah.
so there's something again. It's just something you can't really describe. But I love both.
Yeah.
I've always kind of been like I don't know, like a girly girl from like the neck up,
Oh.
and then everything else is like I didn't know. I'm still not. I don't like. I'm not a bug girl, and
Yeah,
I don't
right,
really
yeah.
like humid heat Oklahoma weather sometimes.
Yeah,
I gotta
it
be
gets
honest.
hot, yeah.
But I do like getting out there and like I like the reward of the work. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Even
yeah.
though when I was a little girl, my dad would be like, "Okay, I'm gonna cut the tree, and you guys have to pick the branches up." I'm not having trees at my house when I grow up. But here I am with
Yeah.
like I'm doing it. But it's really rewarding. I think I'm a little bit of both.
Yeah. Well, Gwen, we love you. Thank you
love
so much
you.
for coming. Congrats on the new album, the new single, Somebody Else's. And we always love seeing you here. So please come back soon.
Thank you guys, and thanks
Thank
for
you.
making it so ridiculously. Like you spoil me. Like this is so nice. Thank you so much, and everybody that's listened to the song. Thank you so much.
By
I
the way,
can't
we're
wait.
going to play it right now, and
Oh,
I
yes.
want to walk you back. 5 years ago, this will take 10 seconds.
Okay.
Yeah.
You were saying how you never gets old hearing yourself on the radio. This is yourself about to hear yourself on
Yes!
the radio with us,
Yay!
with Blake in the background. Listen.
Hold on. I'm going to tell everyone to go listen. Are we really live right now?
Yeah, we're live.
We're live on KOST 103 right now. Blake, go in the kitchen. That's Blake in the background.
What? Where was that?
It was for,
it was
You
for
Make It Feel Like
Christmas. You
Christmas.
make it feel like Christmas.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And you guys called us on the hotline.
Yeah.
And
See?
we took that off the air.
Right.
It was such a beautiful moment.
That's
but now
so funny.
here is somebody else's on
Yep.
KOST.
I was always trying to explain to Blake what coast means to me. Like, 'cause
yeah.
love songs on the coast, and I grew up
Yeah,
with it. Like,
yeah.
I mean, the times I've cried and driven, like, I mean, you have no idea. But he gets it now.